What's your favorite color?
Purple.
I knew that.
My dad was such a influence in my life because he just always said I could do anything.
Gosh, you do, which is great. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a very healthy
Confidence.
Yes. And then it's crazy. They raise the net just on our side of the court. It is so weird how that happens all the
We're
time.
like, what is happening?
Welcome to the NaLa Pickleball Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Natalie Fischer, here with my amazing doubles partner and co-host, Lauri Burgett.
Yep, I'm here too.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome, Lauri.
All right.
Anyway, so NaLa.
Do we want to catch up on what we've been doing since the last time we were here? We thought was Las Vegas. So we've played in a couple tournaments. And how have we done?
We've done well.
We have.
Well. Yeah. No, we just had a tournament a week ago.
Right.
The big PPA Mesa tournament.
Right.
And it was fun. I mean, we're continuing to learn and grow and sharpen our skills and kick some ass, right?
Right.
So what was your takeaway from the tournament? Okay, let's just say right now, we actually medaled. So we medaled in women's doubles, and then I played women's singles and medaled.
Yeah,
and,
that was great.
Yeah,
that was awesome. The first time. So Nat just kind of jumped in there and did 4 or 5 singles and did really well. I mean, and definitely had the potential to take gold for sure. But it was first time playing 4 or 5. It was amazing.
Yep.
There was some good competition. And so also, let's see, I think we tried to figure it out. We did 4-0 in Desert Ridge last year, which Mesa took over this year. 4-0 last year we won. Did we win gold?
We did.
I think we did, or silver. I can't remember. Anyway, we jumped up to 4-5 and been playing in tournaments. And that is quite a jump, actually.
It is.
You really have to have a whole lot of different tools in your tool belt. Your skills really need to do well. So we've been definitely drilling a lot more. I do a lot of analysis of how we play. Which
she does analyze a lot.
Which does not go over well with Natalie sometimes. But we're getting better because we see that the best players communicate, and that's really something you need to do. And it's not about, nitpicking or doing that, even though sometimes it sounds like it. Because I will literally call myself out every shot.
Yeah.
And not nicely.
Yeah.
I will be like, that was stupid. Why did you do that?
Yeah.
And then I think about what I did, and I think that for me, that's definitely where I am with my game, is figuring out, when best to use certain strategies, and then trying to, talk with whoever I'm playing with. In this case, in these tournaments, is you, and go, okay, let's try this.
Right.
But I definitely do a lot of analysis. I definitely research and watch a lot of videos of who I think are the best trainers on YouTube or whatever, and I'm gonna my shout out to Kyle Kazuto, who's my favorite, and that pickleball school. It's a lot of collaboration. There's coaches in there. You can ask questions and they answer it, and they have pros that can even answer questions. So I really like that format. I like the way that he does it, and it's really nice because it's not like only one way to do things. It's always
no absolute ever.
And I knew you'd like that, right?
Yes.
And so that was kind of, I think, refreshing in a way.
Yeah.
And then we experiment with it. So. I think at one point, and it just comes to mind. I'm not picking on anybody, but for anybody, it's the dink to your left hand, your backhand. Anybody that's a hard shot, especially if they're crossing it over deep, right? So if it's a cross court dink to your backhand, anyone, that's a hard shot, and we've spent a lot of time. What I call, like labbing it. So experimenting with it, figuring out how you can get behind it when it's a shot that, you tend to miss. Because what I do when we're playing is I take stock. I actually think that, okay, I missed this, I missed that, I hit the middle, and somebody was like, I do that. I've missed a serve, right? I missed a, whatever it is. And then we get to drilling and we start off right where, 1, 2, 3 shots, right? First shot, second shot. So I think we did well. Yeah. I'd rather take home gold for sure.
For sure.
I can tell you that for some reason, they in the tournaments, they put up smaller courts, I think. They shrink the courts.
And then it's crazy. They raise the net just on our side of the court. It is so weird how that happens all the time.
Like, what is happening?
Yeah. No. Okay. Anyway, so we talked about that. But today, we want to share. We've had some feedback, and maybe some people are interested. Maybe some people don't even care at all about NaLa, right? And who we are. And I know in our kind of inaugural episode, we kind of talked about the origin of NaLa. But today, we are going to get to know the la in NaLa, which means, so I am the na in NaLa, which Natalie, and Lauri is the la. So, but this is kind of fun. It's going to be sort of rapid fire. We're just going to have a conversation and get to know Lauri, and I might find out some juicy tidbits along with you. So, but we'll go really basic, and we can, and whatever you're comfortable sharing. And I'm sure when you're returning the favor, you will come for me. Coming. You will come for me. I know. Sure. And I'm fully prepared to be totally embarrassed.
Well, just so you know, Natalie had this idea right away. We were getting a little bit of feedback on our podcast, but well received, especially from the world we know and the community we share. And so it's been kind of fun. People walking up and saying things, and there's a couple of content that we're going to give you in the next podcast because of some of that feedback, which is cool.
Right.
And Natalie feels like we need to give more of our backgrounds and who we are. So let's do that. Why in the heck would you want to listen to us?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think we have 4 subscribers now, maybe 5. And maybe.
Thanks, Mom.
Know. Yeah, right. Anyway, okay, so who is Lauri Burgett? Really? Where did it even begin? Do you want to tell the origin, the story? I mean, I don't know how much time we have.
Right.
But and you can, whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Anything I find interesting?
Yes.
Well, obviously that's the first thing is.
Family.
That's an AKA. That's an alias for the most part.
Okay.
So I am the second oldest of 8 children. My
8.
father, 8.
Oh.
Yeah. My father, well, you can see why I'm bossy, because I was the first girl.
Yeah.
Let's see, my father is from the Philippines.
Yeah.
And so he was a lieutenant in the guerrillan army. This is my interesting story that I tell. He was a lieutenant in the guerrillan army in the Philippines, and he was a huge U.S. fan because, one, he was living and growing up in the Philippines, and he had a dual citizenship. So people may not know this, but the U.S. Spain ruled over the Philippines for 400 years. So the surnames and some of the culture is very similar. Yeah. And anyway, my father, at some point, there were military bases out there, and he grew up in a place where they rose both the U.S. flag and the Philippine flag. And so he has just grown up an American patriot forever.
Right.
Always thought it was a land of opportunity, just like
a
ton of other immigrants. And so they were recruiting some of the folks out of the military there you could become a U.S. citizen by joining the U.S. Navy, which is what my father did.
Oh.
Yeah. And he was, I'm not sure about how old he was. He was definitely in his 20s. And then he ended up in the Navy. They wouldn't recognize his college degrees or anything from the Philippines, so he went in there as a cook. And crazy. Still for him, because he had his college degrees, he was teaching English. He was a pretty accomplished person and did it anyway because he thought it was all worth it to come to America.
Okay.
And he came over here, met my mom in... my mom is from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hotlanta. She's a Southern peach.
She's a Southern belle from Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, yeah. So, Filipino and Georgia peach.
I just tell people all the time, think Lucy and Ricky Ricardo, if you want to think anything.
Yeah, I get it.
But so my father was actually on the beach with his brother, and they would play ukulele and sing. So he was my dad was very extroverted and musical, and stopped my mother in her tracks to watch them sing. Oh. And I guess he must have crooned to my mother at that moment.
Oh, no.
And then the rest, as they say, is history. They end up getting married. We actually moved back to the Philippines because my father went to medical school there to try to finish out medical school there. So this woman from Atlanta, Georgia, goes to the Philippines, doesn't speak any of the language.
Everything is making sense now.
Yeah? Is it?
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, but it was, we had 4 kids, and then my father was in Vietnam and all that stuff. We ended up coming back, and when we came back, he joined the Army. And so I was a military brat, pretty much. Moved all over, but I did live in Japan for a while. I lived in the Philippines for a while. I lived all over the U.S. So that's me in a nutshell. We ended up over here because they were going to move us out to Germany. And my mom said, I'm not going overseas again. And so he joined, which nobody knew what it was, but now you would because of COVID. the public health service, which is part of, like, and when people talk about NIH, my parents actually ended up both working over at NIH over in Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh.
With Fauci, actually, at the time, because my dad pushed her. He was really good. My dad was such a influence in my life because he just always said I could do anything. Like, and obviously I believe that.
Yes, you do, which is great. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a very healthy
Confidence.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if it's always been that way, but I can tell you my father has helped me through that. And then anyway, they moved away. I decided I need to get a job. I left college early and joined the police department. I was thinking military, but by then had met my future ex-husband already.
Future ex-husband.
Yeah, I'd already met him in high school. That's kind of made me think. He was great, and then joined the police department instead, which was paramilitary. Finished my degrees, even finished my master's, did everything under the sun there. Loved every part of that career. It's provided for me, for my family, met my wonderful husband there, and it's been
Little fraternizing with the fellow cops. She did.
Okie dokie.
No. Well, and for those of you who don't know, or maybe you didn't watch, or Lauri is a retired police commander, 30 years on the force. So thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Right?
You're welcome. I'm sure we met somewhere along the way.
Yeah, probably. I remember those cuffs. No, she's kind of, she's my muscle.
Yeah, I tell. So we were out the other day, and wherever we go, everybody knows Natalie's single. I don't know how. Maybe it's because she's on Facebook, whatever.
Oh.
I walk up and she's like, "This is so and so." I'm like, "Do I need to intervene?" I'm just her bodyguard. Somebody.
Yep.
And he just laughed. He goes, "I can see it."
Yeah.
I'm pretty much just the bodyguard.
Yeah. No, it's funny.
But so that long distinguished career was fun. I taught a lot, which led me to coaching. It was just kind of a way I did things so I could keep learning whatever I was interested in, like pickleball.
Right.
So we got,
right. Yeah. Learning, growing. Okay. So that was, the Filipino, the Georgia peach, the biracial travel, it's a lot. Yeah.
It was a lot. And
yeah,
we switched schools all the time. So I had to, sports was my thing, got me into everything. That's where you meet people. And so I loved it. I was thankfully pretty decent, athletically inclined, and did well. And so I meet people.
No, I'm kidding.
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it would probably save my life because I was not very extroverted, I don't think, at the time. Especially changing schools all the time when you're younger.
Right.
And walking in.
And you're always the new kid, and you're always like,
Right.
Yeah.
And when I moved to Arizona, I had never gone to a school that wasn't on a military base. So that was weird for me, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some of the
that's why I'm patriotic too. See?
You are very
Super
patriotic. Yes, no, and that's great. Mm-hmm. We have some very fun, healthy. I don't want to say debates, but
discussions.
Yes, which is good. Okay, so now what about like some of the basics? Like if somebody, what's your favorite color?
Purple.
I knew that. And all I think
it's
about
not leopard.
It's not leopard.
No, it's not camouflage.
And every time
love
I
purple.
think of purple.
You want me to tell you why, though? It's silly.
Yes, yeah. Tell me why. Because you like Barney.
Well, no. I like Donny Osmond. I actually lived in Utah for a time. I love Donny. I still love Donny Osmond. Still love you, Donny. And he loved purple. I don't know if you knew that or not. But Donny was always in purple. I had a super big crush on Donny. I was just telling my husband that the other day.
Yeah, he was your hall pass?
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I think Donnie's still looking
cute.
pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, purple. Okay.
Back in the day, it was super cute. Like, we're going to go to Vegas. We're probably going to go see Donnie. I'm just going to warn you.
That's fine. That's
Next
fine.
time we go.
Yeah, and I thought it was Barney the dinosaur. Nope. Okay.
No, that might have been my daughter.
Okay. Proudest accomplishment in your life. So, off the pickleball court and then on the pickleball court.
Gosh.
That's a lot, right?
I don't even know. I mean, I think the thing that comes to my mind first and foremost is always my kids and my grandkids.
Of course.
But I mean, I have to say that.
Yes.
But I'm so lucky that my kids, my stepkids, they're amazing. They haven't been trouble, they've been, and in this day and age, that's pretty accomplished. So and then the grandchildren are amazing, and they're amazing parents. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think I'm happy that I finished college. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I left college early because I had to, I needed to make money.
Right.
So I left college early, I had some budding things I could have accomplished. And for me, that was a little bit of a failure that I didn't accomplish some of those things. But I think when I started, I had like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. So I would get off of work. I was working graveyards. I would get off of work and go to school. And then I would go to school my days off, and I finished that. And then after that, got my master's degree, and then had a few classes into my PhD because I was thinking I was going to teach after, which I did. I accomplished that.
Yep.
And I think I've told you this. Like, I'm a person of faith, obviously spiritual, but I believe things fall in my lap.
They do.
And they do.
I've witnessed
and I
it
keep
firsthand.
saying that to her. I'm like, I don't know. It just kind of falls in my lap. We'll just do it if it happens.
Right.
And it does.
Yeah.
Things fall in my lap. So I had a good friend come to me and say, I think you're good. You were an RTO. I was a recruit training officer, and asked me if I wanted to teach. I ended up teaching at a community college.
Right.
And then another person said, hey, I saw you finish your master's. You want to teach full time? And next thing you know, I was teaching full time at NAU. Which has really been, not only was I a police officer, I did a lot of training. And so that to me is a little bit of who I am as well. So it falls into my lap.
It does.
So I'm happy. All those things that do, and I'm able to do something with, I would say they're big accomplishments for me.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are life things, obviously huge. And I think everybody can relate to the fact that being a parent is probably one of the biggest gifts and, things. But, okay, so what about now pickleball? Biggest accomplishment aside from finding your partner in crime.
Well, not to belittle that because, and I wouldn't, because I think that is an exceptional thing, right? I don't want to make you cry or anything. That's another question.
Stop.
But it is because I think anybody that's out there in the community or just played sports, you look for people that you relate to. And not only did I meet Natalie in my women's doubles, now business part, whatever, person who's in my life that I talk to about every day.
Yeah.
And I get to hear all of the exploits and all that stuff.
Okay. All right.
He entertains me.
Slow it down.
Yeah. I'll let you tell those stories later.
Yeah.
But not just that, but also it keeps me active and healthy. I think it's cool. And now, again, then the thing coaching has fallen into my lap. I don't even know how that happened.
Yeah. Now we go places and she has the ability to coach people, and all these women are like, "Oh my God, Coach Lauri!"
Yeah, that's cool. No, but it makes me it's rewarding. But first and foremost, my goal is always, if I coach, it's not about money or financial things or any of that. But I think my time, we've talked about this, our time is valuable in a way, and so is my physical, ability. How many games I have in me for a day or standing on my feet, but also the fact that I can see progress in the women that I'm coaching because I have been that student.
Right.
And so I want to give what I would expect when I was paying people, and learning something. And so I'm always asking for feedback. I think going an extra mile. And so, and they give you good feedback. So
that's important.
I think aside from, I don't know that anywhere in my life I would have said that you would find me in Scottsdale, Arizona coaching on private courts.
Who could have foreseen?
Not me.
Foretold.
Right.
Where things would be. Right?
No, right. It's crazy. But I do feel like we could probably accomplish. I think anything probably, right? And then just all the people we meet from it, and just having conversations. I think I told you I was having a conversation with the owner of Crush.
Yes.
Pickleball yesterday. He happened to be where I was coaching, and we got into a conversation, and we all said the same thing. The goal is about the community and knowing that that's actually what it is.
There are some really amazing people.
There are.
It's funny. Were you with me the other day and somebody was talking about how they were like, oh my God, it's so hard to find friends later in life.
Right.
And I thought couldn't be more contradictory because of our experience playing pickleball. Like I've met all these people
that are really close and friendly.
Yeah.
And like that now that people you could rely on.
Yeah.
If you're sick. If you need help with something, if you need a ride to the hospital, which has come up.
It has.
Right? Or bail money.
Yeah. I haven't made that call yet, but I'm sure it's coming, right?
Well, close enough. But and life has its ups and downs, and people go through it, and especially when you're upwards of 50, there's a lot of different things.
There's a lot of stuff that happens.
Yeah, so it's been cool, and I don't know that I've had that kind of camaraderie. There was a lot of camaraderie on the police force, but there's not a lot of women, right? So a lot of people, and I had wonderful mentors and male friends. But before that, it was really just all the sports I played.
Yeah.
But this kind of community is bigger, and you have the time, And then, we talk about vacations together. We talk about retreats together.
Yes.
Next thing you know, we're shopping and talking about clothes and what I'm wearing. I think that happened the other day. Actually, you came by when we were coaching. You helped me coach.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. And then people were like, oh my God, what are you wearing? Look at her. And my husband says to me the other day, he's like, you got to step up your game to me.
He said that to you?
Yeah.
Your fashion
No, he's like,
game?
well, he kind of just said, no, what did he say? He's like, I noticed that you've been stepping up your game. I go, oh my God, all these women, they notice everything I'm wearing. They'll be like, oh my God, your clothes match your pickleball paddle. And I'm like, oh, it wasn't intentional. There was a little purple involved, but it wasn't intentional. And they just notice everything.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. But, I don't want to let them down.
I know. Now you have to, you've
raised
raised the bar.
Yeah. And they're like, wait a minute. Do I understand there's a clothesline? And because you were there.
Coming.
Like,
That's coming.
That was it. And I said, we're going to have to talk to Natalie about that one, but for sure. So they're amazing students and they're amazing people and successful in their own right. So I like to hear all their stories. I should sit down and do these kind of interviews with them.
Yeah,
There's probably a lot
we should.
to learn. Right.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Well, we could do,
Maybe we'll do that in the future.
Yeah, we can interview our people.
Yeah. No, it's
okay,
good.
so now I'm going to ask some kind of silly questions. Okay, music playlist, like favorite music.
I'm an R&B-er all the way.
No,
I think.
me too. Old school R&B, 90s R&B.
Minus the explicit lyrics in the middle of a pickleball court in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I'm like, no, the audience. Shut that off.
I know.
But I love like Bruno Mars, and I've been listening to a lot of
A lot of Selena.
I do like Selena.
I love Selena.
I go through like little moments, or when I took you to Enrique.
I know.
I love
it.
Enrique and Pitbull.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Ricky Martin from the day.
Yeah.
But I'll also throw on those 80s tracks.
Yeah.
My grandson and I play this game called Hitster. You played that with us once.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And you can go through and just kind of listen to music. But at the same time, sometimes you can find me. I'll be listening to the Four Seasons. Talking about the Jersey Boys or something.
Right.
I'm pretty eclectic. But I play the guitar.
You
I also play the ukulele.
Yep.
I sing a lot.
We do a lot of carpool karaoke when we're on our way to tournaments. We actually will do that. And she has a much better voice than I do. I'm a really good mouther. And I mean that like...
Uh-oh.
Oh, Lord.
Keep it clean, San Diego. Come on. So, and I'm gonna jump, because you're gonna, if you ask me...
Okay. Tell me what you want us to know about you.
No. That's it. I don't know.
No.
I'm not that interesting.
Okay. What is a useless talent that you have? I mean...
I can cross one eye.
Cross one eye? Would you care to do that?
No. That's embarrassing. I can cross one eye and do it to my grandkids.
Let me see it.
Okay. Right?
Oh, God.
I'm doing it.
Super useless.
I did it. It's so useless.
I saw it.
But I mess with my grandkids because I'll be like, oh my God, like if they hit me and I go like that, and then they go, and I go, here, you get it, and they'll tap me.
I'm trying.
And my eye goes back. It's hard to do. I can just cross one eye. I don't even know how I found that talent.
Before you became who you are, what is one piece of advice that you would go back and give yourself?
So you mean like when I try to tell my kids what they should be doing and they completely ignore
right.
that? You know what? I would, and this is the truth. I remember I'm kind of I can be an intense person, but particularly, when and I'm sure that has something to do with the way I grew up or whatever, trying to get attention and 8 kids, whatever.
Right.
But I would tell myself to like chill out and enjoy, and because I remember about things like on the police department, I would get so upset about it, and I actually do. So I've gone back and I volunteer and I teach some of the ethics and things like that. And what I tell people is like, you have to tether yourself to something that is not this world, which is a lot of tragedy and trauma.
Right.
And so I would tell myself not to be so like intense about it, because there's a time, like a moment, like it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like even the competition for promotion, the competition for the jobs and all that just seems like it seems like that was so important at the time.
Right.
And now looking back, it just was just like a moment in time, and maybe what was supposed to happen happened. But I'm glad that I can look back and that I coached my kids through sports. I brought them to all the sports. I always put them first.
Right.
Or tried to, even though I know that I wasn't there like all the time.
Right.
And sacrifice sleep, all that stuff.
We do make a lot of sacrifice. So at the end of the day, really, it is about connection and
Right.
relationship. And you
Right.
said being tethered, and you just have to chill out.
It's going to be okay. Like
Yes.
whatever is supposed to happen is going to
Right,
happen.
right,
Just do
yes.
what you can for yourself. Focus on yourself.
Yes.
And even yourself means your family, your kids, or
Yes.
that time. And,
Yep.
But also always growing and always finding, the good side of things, and it'll be okay.
I don't know if this is like the most important question, but I need to know, and I feel like I know the answer, but what is your favorite shot in pickleball and your least favorite shot in pickleball, whether it's to hit or to be, I guess we don't want to share our
hit at
weakness.
me.
Yeah.
I want to share my witnesses.
I know.
or my
You're
weaknesses.
I already know where anyway, go ahead.
I kind of lost it there for a little bit, but I think you actually named it. Called it a sidewinder. It was my forehand, and it was like a slice, I think. I'm not really sure what the terminology, but I would come in and I would cut.
Right.
I would slice the ball a little, and it would just fly, and you can't hit that ball back. It's gone. And so, but then I was like dealing with my paddle a little bit, so I'm trying to get that back. But that's my favorite shot.
So are
it
you
was like
talking
an
about from
overhead.
the baseline?
No.
Oh.
Oh, I like the kitchen.
Well, yeah. You like to stand at the kitchen line.
I stand at the kitchen, and then so if I can get somebody, I love
She's like a
the
ninja.
shake and bakes,
Right.
Trying to make somebody
Yeah.
pop it up so I can just smash it back.
Yeah.
So that stuff I love to do it, and kind of a setup shot for it is always fun
Yeah.
when it happens. But I do the little sidewinder cut shot, and I was playing with it was one of the pros from JW, and I hit that, and he said, "Oh, that's your best shot." I go, "It is?" I go, "I don't even," and I think it mimics softball, to be honest with you. I think it's like a throw that you
Yes.
make like this, and so when you cut it, and it just hits the ground and skids off, it's hard to defend that. And then the worst, right now, I'm gonna say it's this stupid transition.
The transition? I thought you were going to say your two-handed backhand from the baseline.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
well,
I don't
it's
even know
just
what
a
to do
new
with that
shot.
thing.
It's just a new shot. Yeah.
I don't even think I've attempted that like in rec play, but not in a tournament. But yeah, that one. But I would say, yeah, it's just like working through the transition right now, especially when people have at 4-5 and even higher.
it's
We
different.
play. I mean, I always look up. I do all the research,
Yes,
so
yes,
I
she
start
does.
looking up the people that were playing, and they're like 5-0 players or some
Yeah.
5-1 players, and sometimes they can manipulate you through that transition, and I just have to know when to split step, stop, and then defend it. I think that's getting better, but that's the tough part.
Yeah.
So that's the one I'm kind of working, especially on the right side. I think it's very important. I used to think through this differently, but now I think like if I ask you the same question, Natalie's just got a fast hard ball. I mean, it's just like a fast. I did it on Swing Vision. I think she had a 53 mile per hour
Forehand?
overhead. Was it an overhead?
No,
I think it was an
like-
overhead. But
oh,
your
maybe.
overhead is wicked too, because you can hit it so hard it just bounces over someone's head. It like hits the ground and then bounces
Right.
over someone's
Oh,
head with
yeah.
that with the topspin. So I think those are the things that you just got to kind of deal with. And at 4-5, they can block all those shots. So
Yeah, they can. Yep.
at some point, I was like, Natalie, like we need to slow it down. And then all of a sudden, nobody's slowing it down anymore. Everybody's just hitting fast. So I kind of revisited it and just thought, well, I just need to figure out a way where Natalie can have that freaking shot rip. And so the setup for me, which
Yeah.
is the transition and the reset, so I work on that a lot.
Yeah. The game
That's
is,
the deal.
here's what's so crazy. So we started playing 3 years ago, and the game is continually evolving
Mm-hmm.
and changing. So at first it was like soft shots, and then everyone's like, oh my God, you're a banger. And now all of a sudden everybody's a banger
Everyone
because
is.
people are transitioning from tennis or whatever.
Right.
So anyway, it is evolving and changing, but it's here to stay.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
Well, I mean, I played today and they were all hitting it hard.
yeah.
And I was like, what is happening? So,
I know.
I mean, I think the closest we came to it is a couple of transitional drop shots and here's the thing, they can speed up the ball from really low on the net because they have those crazy top spins or
Right.
whatever they're doing. We've got those squash players that we play racquetball. Some people are really good from
Right.
racquetball, and especially the tennis players, they have those great, and you think it can't go over and it comes over. And so that's where I was getting caught in transition a little bit. So
Yeah.
the reach is good. So that would be it.
That
But
would
we'll
be
get
it.
there. Not anymore. I'm not worried about it much anymore.
Right.
But getting there.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to share with the 5 subscribers that we have?
You're so silly.
No, I think we have 6.
Oh, stop.
I know.
You're so
No,
silly.
there's been a couple. No. I think I've rewatched the same episode like 4 times.
That's
counts.
the research that you do. And I focus on the other kind of research.
I know.
But here we go.
I know.
So that's it.
Is that a wrap?
I think so. I think that's
Okay.
all
I mean, it's to be continued always, right?
Right.
Okay. There we go. NaLa Pickleball, baby.
Yeah, NaLa.
Yeah.